Nnamdi Kanu files appeal against life sentence, a comprehensive analysis of Nigeria's most consequential legal battle. One of the most significant and closely watched legal cases in Nigeria's modern history has entered a pivotal new phase. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, widely known as IPOB, who received a life sentence from a federal high court in Abuja in late 2025, has formally filed an appeal challenging that conviction. The appeal raises numerous legal arguments that legal scholars, political analysts, and ordinary Nigerians believe could fundamentally shape not only the personal fate of Kanu himself, but also the broader political landscape of a country still navigating deep regional tensions and unresolved questions about national identity, justice, and governance. This comprehensive report examines the full background of the case, the legal arguments raised in the appeal, what judicial precedents suggest about possible outcomes, reactions from various stakeholders across Nigeria and internationally, and what the eventual verdict of the appellate court could mean for the future of the country. Understanding the man at the center of the storm. To fully appreciate the significance of this appeal, one must first understand who Nnamdi Kanu is and why his case has attracted such widespread attention across Nigeria and beyond its borders. Nnamdi Kanu was born in Isiama Afarakwu, a community in Abia State in southeastern Nigeria. He later relocated to the United Kingdom, where he became deeply involved in advocacy work related to the rights and political aspirations of the Igbo people, one of Nigeria's three major ethnic groups primarily concentrated in the southeastern part of the country. It was during his time in the United Kingdom that he became one of the founding and most prominent voices of the Indigenous People of Biafra, an organization that advocates for the creation of an independent nation called Biafra, carved out of southeastern Nigeria. The concept of Biafra is not new to Nigerian history. Between 1967 and 1970, a devastating civil war was fought after the southeastern region declared itself the Independent Republic of Biafra. The war ended with reunification under the Nigerian federal government, but the underlying grievances that sparked the conflict, including feelings of political marginalization, economic exclusion, and cultural disrespect, never fully disappeared. Decades later, voices like Kanu's reignited the conversation about Biafran independence, attracting a large following particularly among younger generations in the southeast who felt that their concerns had been consistently ignored by the federal government. Kanu used Radio Biafra, a broadcast platform he operated from the United Kingdom, to reach audiences across Nigeria and among the Nigerian diaspora worldwide. His broadcasts were often direct, passionate, and at times deeply controversial. Supporters described his messaging as a necessary and courageous act of speaking truth to power. Critics, including Nigerian government officials, argued that his broadcasts promoted ethnic hatred, encouraged violence, and threatened the stability of the Nigerian state. This fundamental disagreement about the nature and intent of his activities would eventually become the core legal battleground of his trial. The long road to prosecution. Kanu's legal troubles with the Nigerian government began in earnest in 2015. Nigerian security operatives arrested him in Lagos upon his arrival in the country on charges that included treasonable felony, managing an unlawful society, and unlawful assembly. The arrest drew immediate condemnation from human rights organizations and international observers who argued that his activities, however controversial, fell within the boundaries of free expression and political advocacy. He spent more than a year in detention before a federal high court granted him bail in 2017 under a set of strict conditions. The bail conditions attracted considerable attention because of how unusual and restrictive they were. Among the terms imposed, Kanu was prohibited from attending public gatherings of more than 10 people, required to remain within a specific geographic area, and barred from granting media interviews. Despite these conditions, he continued to engage with supporters and media, which the government later argued constituted a violation of his bail terms. The situation escalated dramatically in September 2017 when the Nigerian army conducted a military operation in the southeastern region known as Operation Python Dance. The operation involved a significant deployment of soldiers in areas where IPOB had a strong presence. Following the operation, Kanu disappeared from public view entirely. For months, neither his whereabouts nor his condition were publicly confirmed, leading to widespread concern among his supporters and human rights advocates. The Nigerian government later declared IPOB a terrorist organization through a federal high court order, significantly raising the legal consequences for anyone associated with the group. Kanu eventually resurfaced outside Nigeria, appearing first in Israel and later in other countries, where he continued his political broadcasts and advocacy work. He remained abroad for several years, maintaining contact with his supporters through social media and radio broadcasts, and continuing to call for Biafran independence and what he described as the liberation of the Igbo people from Nigerian federal authority. Then, in June 2021, the Nigerian government made a dramatic announcement. Kanu had been returned to Nigeria following what officials described as a carefully coordinated international operation involving Nigerian security agencies and their foreign counterparts. He was immediately taken into custody by the Department of State Services, Nigeria's domestic intelligence agency, and formally charged with terrorism and other offenses. The government hailed the development as a major security achievement and a demonstration of Nigeria's ability to enforce its laws regardless of where individuals sought refuge. However, the circumstances surrounding his return to Nigeria quickly became the subject of intense international scrutiny. His legal team argued that he had been unlawfully abducted from Kenya, where he had been residing, in a manner that violated both Nigerian and international law. A Kenyan court later ruled that his removal from Kenyan territory had indeed been unlawful, a finding that added a layer of international legal complexity to the Nigerian proceedings. The United Kingdom government also took an interest in the matter given that Kanu holds British citizenship, and British parliamentarians raised questions about his welfare and the conditions of his detention. Despite these international complications, Nigerian courts continued to hear the charges brought against him, with judges ruling that questions about how he was returned to Nigeria did not prevent the Nigerian judicial system from exercising jurisdiction over his case. The trial and its most controversial moments. The trial that followed Kanu's return to Nigeria proceeded over an extended period and included numerous sessions, legal motions, procedural disputes, and dramatic moments that kept the case in the public